So here we are at the starting line of the Stockley versus Tucker showdown, introduced with a dash of flair by Jerome, the court's trusty sidekick. As the judge and audience exchange a warm "good day," you can almost feel the anticipation bubbling up in the room, like a soda can shaken too hard. Get ready, folks. This drama is just starting to fizz.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Stockley versus Tucker.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Stockley, you say you feel pain and guilt in your heart for claiming the wrong man was your daughter, Waikia's biological father, for the past 23 years.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more intriguing, Waikia recounts bumping into Mr. Tucker as a kid. It's one of those "do you know who I am" moments that feel straight out of a soap opera. Except in this episode, there's no dramatic gasp or fainting, just a confused kid and a missed connection that's about to take center stage years later. The suspense is building, and so is our appetite for drama.
I don't know about that. I really don't.
You never knew anything about it?
No. Only saw Waikia since she was 8 years old, and that was it.
Waikia, you remember seeing Mr. Tucker when you were 8 years old?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe that?
Because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember I was coming out of the store and we bumped into this guy, and this guy looked down over top of me and looked me in my face and said, "Do you know who I am? My name Willie."
Candace Tucker enters the chat, and boy, does she sound like she just walked into the middle of a movie. She's got questions, doubts, and a sprinkle of sass about the whole situation. It's like realizing you've missed out on a sister because of a 23-year-long game of hide and seek. The drama meter is cranking up, and we're here for it.
I'm just sitting here because I'm just completely confused. My whole thing is, I did hear about her when she was 8. I was with my dad at that time, and then I did meet her again, but it's just like, she's saying that she's so sure that this is my dad's child. Why wait 23 years? Like, it's basically like I will miss out on the whole sister. I've been around all my other sisters and brothers. He loved his children, and if he had a possible child, I'm quite sure he would have said, "This is your sister," and we would have been a family.
Here comes a plot twist straight out of a weather report. The blizzard of '93. It's like setting the scene for a romantic novel, except it's just a really inconvenient snowstorm that trapped 2 potential lovebirds, or at least baby makers. This blizzard is about to become more famous than any snow day in history. Let's slide into this icy tale.
So, Mr. Tucker, do you remember this snowstorm?
Yes, I do.
The snow, it was high. Snow was up to the peephole at the door. So I tried to leave the second day. When I opened the door, the snow fell in on us.
So you all were trapped inside.
That's storm.
And so during those entire 3 days, you were intimate.
Yes, ma'am.
The judge is pulling out a conception calculator like it's a magic wand. With a few clicks, we're time traveling back to the blizzard of '93, pinpointing the exact moment Waikia might have been conceived. It's like solving a mystery with math, which is honestly a lot cooler than any of us remembered from school. The anticipation is snowballing.
You guys were in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah.
I want to look this up. The snowstorm blizzard of 1993, Philadelphia. Now, it says Philadelphia blizzard of 1993, the worst snowstorm in years, the 6th largest snowfall in the county. Snowstorm shut city down from March 12th to March 15th.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is going to help us determine whether or not Mr. Tucker is truly a possible biological father for Waikia.
Mrs. Stockley's spilling the tea that she was playing musical chairs with 2 guys during the storm. It's a classic "who's the daddy" scenario that's got more twists than a pretzel factory. This confession is juicier than a high school gossip circle, and we're all leaning in for the details. Who knew a snowstorm could lead to such a heated discussion?
Put in your birth date into this conception calculator and push calculate. The window of conception would be March 12th to March 18th. Sounds like things may have been heating up during that snowstorm. Miss Stockley, were you with any other men during that time?
Yes, I was, Your Honor. That was my boyfriend at the time.
Buckle up, because Mrs. Stockley and Mr. Tucker are diving into a debate that's got more back and forth than a ping pong match. They're unraveling years of he said, she said, with the skill of seasoned reality TV stars. This is the kind of argument that makes you glad you're just watching from the sidelines, munching on your popcorn.
But when I was pregnant with Waikia, after I had Waikia, we all live in the same neighborhood. I seen Mr. Tucker many a time.
So why not just tell him?
Because like I said, he would come to my neighborhood, I would go to his neighborhood, I saw an auntie live on his block. His sisters, they would say to me, "Where my niece at? Where my little niece at? Where my niece at?"
His family members would say, "Where my little niece at?"
Yes.
No, Your Honor, her mom, her friend, everybody in her neighborhood, when I be going to work, Zakia, you know,
Waikia.
Just when you think it's turning into a daytime drama fest, the judge calls for a moment of Oprah-level wisdom, asking for understanding and forgiveness. It's a heartfelt plea that reminds us why we're all really here, to find out who gets to wear the world's best dad mug. The stage is set set for a tearjerker, so keep those tissues handy.
Jan, he's lying.
There's 2 men.
He's lying.
So hold on, I want to
He's
understand this.
lying.
Hold on. So Miss Stokely, is it
Yes.
your testimony that he knew the possibility?
He knew.
But you feel like he did not put forth an effort?
No.
So you went about your business of being mother and father.
At the time, I was still with my ex. So I couldn't go to Mr.
that's
Tucker
not
and
the
say, you know what, this is your daughter, this and the third. I see him from time to time, all the time.
But why shut me out?
I never shut you out.
Waikia takes the mic with a vulnerability that could crack the hardest of hearts. She's not just looking for a dad, she's looking for the missing piece of her family puzzle. It's a moment so touching, you'd have to be made of stone not to feel a little something. We're not crying. You're crying. Okay, maybe we're all crying just a bit.
They don't care
It
about
wasn't
no
about
baby
no
father.
man to man to man.
They don't care about
it
no
wasn't
baby
about no
father.
man to man to man.
Listen, okay, Mr. Tucker, I gotta ask the same question of you.
Yes.
Once your aunt, your family members, your mother, Willie, there's this little girl, Willie,
Man,
there's
they
this
don't know nothing about them.
But no,
My family-
you just said that they said to you,
I'm
Willie.
talking about her family.
Oh,
Her
okay.
family. Let's get it right.
Okay, so hold on.
Let's get it right.
Mr. Tucker's stepping up to the plate, ready to swing for the fences if Waikia turns out to be his. He's promising to give it his all, and suddenly, we're all Team Tucker rooting for this family reunion like it's our own. The courtroom feels more like a pep rally, and we're all cheering for a happy ending.
You were saying the people who were running up on you were from her family.
Yes.
And so that's
Yeah,
why
I know.
your response to them was, she hadn't told me nothing.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, once you had information from her family, even if it wasn't your family,
Right.
why then would you not pursue it and say, Kathy, people keep coming up to me talking about we got this little girl. What is
'Cause
going on with this
A
little
real
girl?
woman front they man.
And now, the moment of truth, drum roll please. Mr. Tucker is
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tucker, you are the father.
the court session for Kiesel v. Kiesel kicks off with the judge and the crowd exchanging hellos like they're old friends at a reunion. Jerome steps up to introduce the case, setting the stage for a paternity drama involving Mrs. Kiesel's unborn baby that's got more twists than a pretzel factory. Grab your popcorn. This is gonna be a wild ride.
Mr. Kiesel, you say your marriage depends on today's paternity results after your wife announced that the child she is currently pregnant with may not be yours. You are here to prove you are the father and save your family. Mrs. Kiesel, you say it breaks your heart to stand in court, prove that your husband is not your unborn child's father, but you know the truth. Another man is.
If you thought your pregnancy was stressful, get a load of this. Mrs. Kiesel shares the emotional whirlwind she's in, not just with marriage woes, but a pregnancy caught in the crossfire of a paternity debate. The baby shower got axed because the guest list looked more like a Maury Povich show lineup. Talk about party poopers.
It has affected me in a huge way, not only just our marriage, but my pregnancy as well, because it's hard for me to necessarily, yes, I'm excited for it, but it makes it harder when there's so much stress put into the pregnancy.
In the What Were You Thinking segment, the judge, with a tone of bewildered curiosity, asks Mrs. Kiesel about her whirlwind decision to step out so soon after saying "I do." Mrs. Kiesel reminisces about the rushed journey down the aisle and the ghost of boyfriend past haunting her. Speed-running marriage achievements unlocked.
Really rushed into a relationship. We had been dating on and off, but it was back and forth with my ex and him. We both have broke up a couple times over while we were dating. And then when we got married, it just was kind of like a let's go do this kind of thing. It was like, let's do it today. So we did. I just feel like we might have got married a little too young. So that I think has a big effect on it as well, because I wasn't fully over my ex.
Get ready for the emotional roller coaster, folks. Mr. Kiesel recounts his side of the pregnancy reveal, which quickly goes from celebration to devastation, putting a whole new spin on the term baby blues. And you thought surprise parties were intense?
You take this pregnancy test with your wife, this test you've been doing once a week because you hope to conceive a child. And after this moment of, yes, we're pregnant, you have to get the news that, oh no, but you cheated.
It was crushing. We had been trying for a while, and she was in the bathroom. She walked out crying and told me she was pregnant, and I asked why she was crying, and she told me that there's a possibility that I might not be the father. And that's just, I broke down myself.
Hold on, it's the Maury moment. Mrs. Kiesel dives into the details of conception timelines and intimate rendezvous with an attention to dates that would make a historian proud. This baby's inception story has more timelines than a sci-fi novel. Who needs a calendar when you've got drama like this?
It wasn't really a doctor appointment. I had started spotting. So we went to the emergency room to confirm that I was even pregnant because we just had a home test done. So April 1st, I went to the emergency room.
And did they give you your conception date?
Yes, they did, Your Honor. It was March 8th.
March 8th. And now, Mr. Kiesel, when were you intimate with your wife?
We were intimate on the 8th.
So that's gonna be a K for Mr. Kiesel.
Guess who's playing detective? Mr. Kiesel, armed with ultrasound pics and a keen eye for family resemblances, is convinced he's the dad based on a shared nosy profile because nothing says paternity like matching nostrils. CSE Baby Edition.
We have a nose that looks a lot alike. Mine goes down and then bubbles at the end, and with the ultrasounds that we had, the child had the same kind of nose.
You believe by looking at this ultrasound, it appears that you have a similar nose to the child.
And we have fat upper lips. I see it in the ultrasound as well.
Yes.
I mean, I hope he's the dad. I want our marriage to work, and I want everything to be fine.
Here comes the science bit. The courtroom turns into a mini lecture hall as a medical expert is brought in to talk about clubfoot, making genetics sound like the latest episode of a mystery series. Who knew biology class could be this gripping?
Jerome, would you please escort Dr. Samantha Brown Parks into the courtroom? I'd like to hear from her. Hello, doctor.
Hi there.
Hello, thank you so much. Our couple, Mr. and Mrs. Kiesel, are here, and they are desperately trying to determine whether or not Mr. Kiesel is this child's biological father. He has talked about having a physical condition that runs in his family, a club foot. And I need to know from you.
Brace yourselves. The suspense is real. After the doc's input, Mr. Kiesel's still holding on to hope like a contestant on a game show, betting all on baby features and genetic roulette, because who needs DNA tests when you've got a hunch?
After hearing the testimony of the doctor, Mr. Kiesel, has your opinion changed as to whether or not you believe this child is your biological child?
Not really, Your Honor. From what I saw in the ultrasounds, I thought I saw the clubfoot. I see many resemblances between us, and...
But have you been honest with yourself about these feelings you've had thus far? I want the child to be mine. I believe the child is mine.
Drum roll, please. The big reveal is finally here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kiesel, you are the father.
The court session kicks off with the judge making her grand entrance, and the greetings fly around like confetti at a wedding. The case of Smith versus Hopkins is tossed into the arena by Jerome, setting the scene for a paternity drama that's got more twists than a pretzel, involving a 2-year-old named Kamya. Grab your popcorn, because this show's just getting started.
Ms. Smith, you've petitioned the court today to prove to your fiancé that he is the biological father of your beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Kamaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh boy, here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Hopkins dives into why he's got this cloud of doubt hanging over him, and it all boils down to Ms. Smith. Smith dropping bombshells during their spats that Kamya isn't his. These revelations have stirred up a storm, leaving him to question his place in Kamya's life, despite opening his wallet and heart to her. And you thought your family dinners were dramatic.
She told me herself a couple of times, numerous of times, that in an argument that Kamaya wasn't mine. And
just to make you mad, it wasn't to...
That ain't how you do it.
You said that, Ms. Smith? You said Kamaya's not your child? That's not something you say in an argument.
Yes, I have said.
Through birthday parties for Kamaya, her second birthday party I threw for her, I provided shoes, clothes for her. You see what I'm saying, Your Honor?
Well, this just took a turn into soap opera territory. Ms. Smith drops a bombshell that she had a rendezvous with her ex, the father of her other kiddos, right around the time Kamya was conceived. This spicy revelation sends Mr. Hopkins' doubt meter off the charts, especially since no one's bothered to exclude the ex from the baby daddy lottery with a DNA test. Stay tuned, because this rabbit hole goes deeper.
Around the time I got pregnant with Kamaya, I went and slept with him twice.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hopkins, did you know this was going on at the time?
At the time, I didn't. I didn't find out until one day I just received a letter from her ex saying that he Kamaya father, and from that point on, I just been in doubt. I have evidence if you would like for me to preside.
I would like to see that, thank you.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, the court has shown posts from Mr. Smith's ex claiming he's the proud papa of Kamya, adding fuel to the dumpster fire of doubt Mr. Hopkins is feeling. Despite the ex's social media daddy claims, Ms. Smith stands firm that Mr. Hopkins is the father, pointing out their shared nose as Exhibit A. You can't make this stuff up, folks.
And that's referring to you, Ms. Smith? You stand in the courtroom and you testify that you have no doubt that Mr. Hopkins is Kamaya's father.
I do feel he's her father. She looked like him, like they eyes, they nose.
So wait, has your ex been excluded by a previous DNA test?
No.
All right, let's go to your next piece of evidence, Mr. Hopkins. This picture said and it's also from the ex.
Hold on to your hats. We're doing some math. The court tries to piece together the conception timeline, with Mr. Hopkins' stint in the slammer throwing a wrench into the works. Despite the timeline suggesting Mr. Hopkins could be the father, his mom comes in swinging with testimony about Ms. Smith's fidelity, or lack thereof. Next up, Maury Povich makes a guest appearance. Just kidding, but can you imagine?
You say Kamaya was born when?
October 15th.
October 15th, got that. And you were on an involuntary extended stay, we'll call it. When?
I say like around the end of January, beginning of February.
All right, so let's count back.
It don't make
It ends up being approximately 40 weeks, which is long enough for a baby to be born. But based on this calendar, you do understand that you're not excluded being a possible father. You understand that, right?
Get ready for a heart melter, people. A video of Kamya calling Mr. Hopkins Papa is played, showing the deep bond they share, making the possibility of him not being the father even more heart-wrenching. This little girl has stolen his heart, and the courtroom is not prepared for the flood of emotions. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay, maybe I am.
So, well, she calling him Papa. She really love him, like just love him.
I like to see that. Jerome, will you please hand me?
Well, Papa, him right there. What's his name?
Papa.
What?
So cute. And so your concern, Miss Smith, is that the results.
And now, for a moment of legal levity. Mr. Hopkins has filed a lawsuit for $20,500, representing the cash he shelled out on Kamya, thinking she was his. The court, however, decides these were gifts, not loans, and tosses his lawsuit out faster than a bad sitcom. Better luck next time, buddy.
Look, I've seen on videotape your relationship with this child. These expenses, in this court's opinion, were gifts to that child. For that reason, I'm going to dismiss your claim.
Thank you.
You need to say to one another before the truth is read, because the truth can make a liar out of you. So better you tell the truth before it tells it for you.
Brace yourselves. The truth bomb is about to drop. The DNA test results are unveiled.
As it pertains to 2-year-old Kamaya Anderson, Mr. Hopkins, you are not Kamaya's father.
It's gonna be all right, baby.
I'm sorry.
So here we go, the court circus kicks off. Everyone's told to park their behinds and get comfy, because boy, are we in for a show. The judge, participants, and audience exchange hellos, like it's a weird family reunion, and trust me, it's about to get as spicy as Grandma's secret chili sauce.
Miss Cotton, you say Mr. Pendleton's meddling mother is the reason he is denying your 5-month-old daughter, Love Cotton. You claim you are 100% positive he's the father and plan to set the record straight today. Mr. Pendleton, you are here today with your mother, and you both believe that it's impossible that you fathered Miss Cotton's daughter because you claim you are unable to have children.
Dive into the relationship roller coaster of Ms. Cotton and Mr. Pendleton, featuring a breakup, makeup, and a side of bedroom Olympics with a mystery contender that might just mix up the paternity pot even more. It's like watching a tennis match, but the ball is a baby. Who will score the daddy point? The suspense is real.
And then we separated, and then we were still, dealing with each other. But when she got pregnant, she told me she was pregnant. Like 2 weeks later, she called me and said it's a possibility, that the baby might not be mine. So if you call me and tell me that, then I'm not supposed to believe you when you say that the baby's 100% mine.
I slept with one person in April.
Okay, so you slept with somebody.
Right, but how many times though? Like she told me it was once.
One time in April.
But how can I believe
we were not
you
together.
did
I
it?
do whatever I want with
so
my
how are you
body.
100% sure?
In a plot worthy of a daytime Emmy, Ms. Cotton confesses to a sneaky, unprotected rendezvous amidst a supposedly protected tango, throwing a wild card into the already muddled paternity mess. The drama meter just exploded, and we're here sipping the tea, waiting for the next bombshell.
It was protected until he took the condom off.
And that would be unprotected.
But she's like, how can you be 100% sure if the guy took the condom off?
I mean, that really is the question of the day besides paternity.
Because allegedly she looked like, but she a baby. She ain't got her features yet.
How
don't get me
don't
wrong.
She have her features
don't get me
yet?
wrong.
Like,
She beautiful, like she gorgeous, but I can't, she a baby. Babies don't start developing.
Oh, she's so precious.
Thing.
You just thanked me. Just thanked me like that was your daughter.
Just when you thought your brain had enough twists and turns, Ms. Cotton and Mr. Pendleton navigate through the murky waters of pregnancy timelines and ultrasound debates with the confidence of lost tourists refusing to ask for directions. She's convinced she's the human version of a pregnancy test, but the doc begs to differ. Spoiler alert, it's about to get as clear as mud.
But Ms. Cotton, you're saying that you were even confused with your doctor's appointment because conception date and the window window got moved.
And they were trying to tell me that I wasn't as far. I knew I was. Like, they tried to make it seem like I wasn't, you know, as far in my pregnancy, but I knew I was farther than what they were saying.
So you basically knew more than the doctor.
It's my body.
Is this your first baby?
No, it's not.
First of all, calm that neck down when I'm asking you questions, because I'm trying to understand what your point is, and your point proves your case.
Here comes the soap opera-worthy confession, night before court, complete with mystery, intrigue, and denied rendezvous accusations that Mr. Pendleton feigns ignorance about. Is it amnesia or just selective hearing? Either way, the plot's so thick you could cut it with a knife.
I found out all the stuff that was going on. I was honest with him as well. Like,
that's my point. During that time, did the other guy try to step up? Did he try to be involved in the pregnancy?
It wasn't no talking.
So at that time, was Mr. Pendleton in your life helping you along with the pregnancy?
He was in my life, stringing me along. Oh, if the baby yours, we gonna be together. Had a whole new girlfriend that his mother just, fell in love with. Now y'all best friends.
We're now deep in the territory of he kinda, sorta, maybe did stuff for the baby, or not. Discussions about Mr. Pendleton's involvement, or lack thereof, with love since her arrival turn into a he said she said fiasco. Will he step up or continue to be a cameo in his daughter's life? The jury and everyone else is still out.
Every 3-4 months or whatever, you know, like.
So no consistency.
No, not at all.
And so when you had the baby, was he there in the hospital?
No. He was like, well, I'll come up there and we can get the DNA test, and he never came.
So now Love is 5 months old.
Yeah.
What has Mr. Pendleton done for her?
Honestly, spent a little bit of time. Like, he got her on a couple weekends.
Yeah, and I come get her during the day.
The paternity results are in, and surprise, Mr. Pendleton is...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pendleton, you are the father.
Ms. Owens steps into the spotlight, dishing out the backstory of a whirlwind teenage romance turned sour with Mr. Raines. Picture this: young love, vows, and then, boom, she's solo parenting their mini-me, Jaime. Ms. Owens is on a mission, folks, armed with the conviction that Mr. Raines knows he's daddy dearest, and she's hell-bent on proving it today. Grab your popcorn because this is just the appetizer.
Mr. Raines, you say there is no way you fathered Ms. Owens' child, as you were separated and living in another county when she conceived. You say Ms. Owens has named you as the father in order to save face in front of her daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Suddenly, we're time traveling to the good old days when it was all stolen kisses and heart emojis. Mr. Raines gets all nostalgic about trying to be Mr. Right, tying the knot post a tragic miscarriage. But wait, Ms. Owens isn't buying his timeline tales about their daughter's conception. It's like they're dancing to different tunes. Stay tuned. The next act features a plot thicker than Grandma's gravy.
All right, so you felt like your husband was cheating. I have to ask you, were you cheating too?
No, ma'am, I sure wasn't.
I don't know.
What makes you believe she was cheating, Mr. Raines?
We went home an awful lot. It's hard to believe, for me to believe that she was not cheating. I mean, again, here we are today over a child, 27 years old, and the timeline don't add up.
26.
Soon be 27.
All right, whip out your detective hats because Mr. Raines is about to pull a Sherlock with a calendar as his trusty Watson. He's all, Exhibit A. This here calendar proves I was MIA during the baby-making season. The exchange gets as heated as a Thanksgiving family debate with timelines and dates flying faster than a speeding bullet. Oh, but there's more juicy gossip ahead, so keep those ears perked.
Jamie was born July 31st, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is when Claire says she's pregnant.
I got pregnant in October.
This is when she's the 6th day. So I left in August is when I left.
No.
We broke up. I was no longer with her in August.
Is your birthday July 31st, Ms. Rowe?
Yes.
But Ms. Owens, you don't agree with this timeline.
No, I do not.
Grab a tissue, because Ms. Owens is about to turn on the waterworks, lamenting over Hemi's fatherless childhood and the ghost of daddy issues. It's a heart-wrenching soliloquy that might just make you hug your nearest parent figure. But don't get too soggy. The story's about to take a turn into even more tangled territories.
She did not have that.
Let's back
She
up.
had my father to help me raise her. It's not fair. He has never, ever done anything for her.
And so when you gave birth, did you ask him to be there? I'm having the baby. Do you want to come to the hospital?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Fast forward to Jamie's grand entrance to the world, and Ms. Owens is making executive decisions left and right, leaving Mr. Raines' name off the birth certificate like he's Voldemort or something. They dive into the nitty-gritty of what this means for everyone involved, especially Hemi. Buckle up. The emotional roller coaster is about to hit a loop-de-loop.
I actually took her to see him when she was 2 weeks.
There's still doubt.
Did you put him on the birth certificate, Ms. Owen?
No, ma'am, ma'am, I did not.
And at that time, he was your husband?
Correct. In the state of Kentucky, you do not have to put the child father on the birth certificate. And in the state of Kentucky, you could give the child any last name you wanted.
And here comes Jaime, all grown up and just as confused as a chameleon in a bag of Skittles. She spills the tea on a bombshell convo with her mom at 12, hinting at a mysterious man B potentially being her bio dad. Mr. Raines isn't helping, planting seeds of doubt like he's gardening. Oh, the plot thickens, and you'll need a shovel for the next part.
The timeline was off, that there's this other guy that I was told.
Did your mother ever tell you?
Yeah, when I was 12. I was gonna move with Mr. Raines, and she told me that she was with someone else, that they were broke up, and I let it go because I thought, well, maybe she just don't want me moving with him. I get told by Mr. Raines 6 months ago that he didn't know if I was even his daughter or not.
Drumroll, please. The moment of truth arrives with the dramatic flair of a telenovela finale. The DNA test results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Raines, you are the father.
Mr. Patrick opens the episode by explaining his predicament. In a move that might qualify for the What Was I Thinking award, he regretfully allowed a stranger, who later turned into a homewrecker by sleeping with his girlfriend, Ms. Pence, to crash at their place. He's in court to dispute the paternity of fraternal twins Larry and Carrie, suggesting the plot of a soap opera where the other man is the father. Buckle up, it's about to get as twisty as a pretzel.
Mr. Patrick, you say 5 years ago you made a huge mistake by opening your doors to a stranger who needed a place to stay because that man betrayed you and slept with your girlfriend, Ms. Pence. Today, you're here to prove that you didn't father Pence's fraternal twins, 4-year-olds Larry and Carrie, and the other man did.
And then, plot twist. Ms. Pence's rationale for her rendezvous sounds more like a bad rom-com excuse. She claims Mr. Patrick's constant accusations of her being a secret agent of love drove her to commit the act. This scene highlights the kind of trust issues that wouldn't be out of place in a telenovela. You might want to sit down for the next part. It's a doozy.
Wait, did you go looking for him or did you run into him?
I kind of went looking for him. Larry had continuously, from day one, accused me of cheating constantly. I had never slept with anyone else before that night. I had constantly,
so flirtatious.
That's how I was brought up. I'm constantly calling people honey and babe. That's how I was raised. It has nothing to do with that. I never slept with anyone before that. Never. You constantly accused me of it, and I kept telling you, you're going to keep pushing, and it's going to happen.
If this was a board game, we'd be sliding into some wild turns. In a courtroom maneuver that might make even a daytime TV judge blink, Ms. Pence presents a calendar as her Exhibit A to prove Mr. Patrick's paternity of the twins. The dates she circles seem to cast Mr. Patrick as the father, but the math is fuzzier than a math book in a blender. Strap in, because the roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
On November 2nd, Your Honor, is the date that me and Mr. Patrick had sex, and then on August 7th is the date that the twins were born.
That don't mean that. That's a 5-day window.
It does. The doctor had said that the twins were conceived right around the 2nd of November, Your Honor. And if you count those dates back, it only leads to Mr. Patrick.
Things just got real. Reality TV real. The story shifts as Mr. Patrick questions if his son's hyper energy might be a clue he's not the dad. It's like wondering if disliking broccoli could be hereditary. This introduces a whole new level of paternity doubt, based not on who shared the bed, but on who can't sit still in it. But wait, there's a plot twist that not even a psychic saw coming.
I think he's ADHD or something like that. You know what I mean? He doesn't listen. He's rambunctious.
He's a little boy.
I understand he's a little boy, and I hope he grows out of it someday. I believe he's ADHD or
There's
something.
nothing wrong with it.
And so,
how do you know that it doesn't run in your family?
I've been with you for 10 years, honey.
It doesn't matter. You don't know everything, every single thing about your family history.
You thought reality TV was wild? The climax hits with the lie detector results, revealing more twists than a bag of pretzels. Ms. Pence's claims about her one-night misadventure show more holes than a golf course, rocking Mr. Patrick's trust to its core. And just when you think it's all over, we've got one more surprise that will make your jaw drop.
Ms. Pence, you met with a licensed polygraph examiner.
Yes, Your Honor.
During the last 10 years of your relationship with Mr. Patrick, have you had sexual contact with any other man other than the man whom you admitted to cheating with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
How is that?
And now for the grand finale. The episode wraps up with the DNA results stage diving into the drama, confirming Mr. Patrick as the biological father. Despite the results, the shadows of lie detector revelations and trust issues loom large, like a cloud over a picnic. But don't turn the channel yet. The after party is about to start.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Patrick, you are the father.
I told you that you was the father. I told you.
So, we kick off with a real-life soap opera called The Case of Lester versus Lewis, where Judge Lake is about to drop the gavel on some daytime drama. Ms. Lester steps up, throwing the paternity gauntlet down on Mr. Lewis, who apparently thinks fatherhood's as negotiable as his next date. She's adamant he's the daddy of her toddler, Ryden, but he's crying foul, saying the only thing they share is a mutual dislike. And folks, buckle up, because this is just the opening act of the Drama Fest.
Ms. Lester, you opened this case against Mr. Lewis because you say he denies fathering your 21-month-old son, Raiden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Only because you won't have sex with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you want Mr. Lewis to step up after today's result, prove that he is the father.
Flashback time. We're on a roller coaster ride through their relationship's highs and lows, including a not-so-romantic recount of their first night together that ends in a he's lying, she's lying deadlock. There's talk of baby-making plans that apparently got lost in translation, or maybe just lost in the heat of the moment. The plot thickens, and I'm here for it, armed with popcorn.
Is this what it is?
No. It's not what it's gonna be in this courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you look crazy because you're the one sleeping with her anyway, so you're not making a point. You're only making yourself look dumber. How did you even end up in a sexual relationship?
Back when I was young, we've known each other since for probably about 6-7 years.
Oh, so you all knew each other for a long time?
Yes, we have. Seen her at a grocery store one day. She was with another man then.
Just when you thought it was all about baby mama drama, Mr. Lewis pulls the old "I'm physically incapable" card, claiming medical reasons mean he can't be Raiden's dad. But wait, there's a plot twist. Another dude's in the mix, having signed the baby's birth certificate. Our drama now has a love triangle. Or is it a square? Math's hard. Pass the popcorn.
But if you were already having sex, why do you need to say that if it isn't true? You saying it to have sex, you already having sex, so why you gotta lie?
So you know how to get a brother.
It was
Now it's your fault, Miss Lester.
It was also time.
Why y'all got to lie?
Gosh. It was also times to where we talked about this.
Ms. Lester spills the tea on why she let another man claim her baby. It's a tale of missed doctor's appointments and ignored phone calls, but she's not about to chase Mr. Lewis down. She's got a backup plan, and it involves letting someone else play daddy. This episode of Who's Your Daddy just got spicy.
Let me look in my court files, because we got a copy of that birth certificate.
Yes, he did.
Birth certificate, oh yeah, here it is, from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Certified record of birth for Raiden
Jador.
And father's name is another man's name.
Yes, Your Honor.
You let another man sign the birth certificate when you told Mr. Lewis it was his child? Why?
Because I'm not gonna chase someone around. You knew you had this baby. Why do I have to chase you around? Why do I have to tell you this?
Oh, but the soap opera doesn't stop there. Enter Mr. Fiancé, Kevin Brown, throwing in his 2 cents and a whole lot of confusion. Is he the father? Is he just a supportive partner? The waters are muddier than a reality TV plot, and I'm snacking harder than ever.
Literally, I've been shot multiple times to where the doctors have pumped so much medicine in my body, and they told me that I couldn't have kids at all.
And since that time, you haven't fathered any other children.
No.
That's why you feel Raiden is not your biological child.
He doesn't even look like me. Just because he's light-skinned, he has none of my features at all. At all. He doesn't look like me.
Heartstrings are officially tugged as we hear about Mr. Lewis's mom falling head over heels for the little tyke. She's all in, playing Grandma of the Year. This storyline's got more layers than my Aunt Patty's dip, and every single one of them is deliciously complicated.
You got that look in your eye, Mr. Lewis, like you believe he's a potential father.
Yes, they've been on and off as long as I've known Jatoya.
He's delusional. Like, he's jealous of the fact that I'm with him. Normally, I would have him in this loop where I'm having sex with him and him, and they both know it. When I'm mad at him, I go to him. When I'm mad at him, I go to him. It's not a secret. At the beginning of this year, that's when we decided to be serious with this relationship.
Grab your tissues, folks. Ms. Lester makes a heartfelt plea for Mr. Lewis to step up to the dad plate, bringing childhood baggage into the mix. It's a moment of raw emotion that has everyone in the courtroom, and me, feeling all the feels. Who knew paternity court could be such an emotional roller coaster?
So, Mr. Lewis, I read in your court papers that your mother has fallen in love with you.
Correct.
Now, as you stand here and protest, if there's no way you could possibly be this child's father, your mother, on the other hand, has fallen in love with the beautiful baby and wants Raiden to be her grandchild.
Correct.
Mr. Lewis is hoping for a miracle, a chance to prove that amidst the circus of their relationship, there's a little guy who might actually be his. It's a touching sentiment, momentarily making us forget the Jerry Springer vibes that got us here. Fingers crossed and tissues ready, people.
Hope he come back mine, If he come back mine, I'm gonna be in his life and do what I need to do as a father.
The stakes are high because you want to change your life and you want this closure for this beautiful young man.
Correct.
And for you, it would be a miracle baby because the doctors told you you're not gonna have any children.
Correct.
Drumroll, please. The DNA results are in, and it's a bombshell.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lewis, you are not the father.
So here's the deal. In the courtroom circus of Harvey versus Jet, we kick things off with everyone getting cozy in their seats. Mr. Harvey, feeling pretty peeved, is asking for his money back on baby gear for a kiddo he swears isn't his. Ms. Jet, on the flip side, is throwing a Hail Mary with a paternity test request, betting all her chips that Mr. Harvey is indeed the daddy. The judge rolls out the welcome mat, setting up what's clearly going to be more entertaining than daytime TV.
Mr. Harvey, you are asking the court to award you $496.52 for baby supplies you say the defendant, Ms. Jet, demanded for a child you adamantly deny is yours. Ms. Jet, in response to Mr. Harvey's suit, you have petitioned the court for the results of a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor.
In an epic showdown of receipts versus requests, Jet hits Harvey with a baby supply list that would make a Kardashian blush. Harvey, not to be outdone, comes back swinging with receipts totaling $496.52, proving he bought everything from A to Z despite his paternity doubts. The judge's eyebrows hit the ceiling as she sifts through the evidence, probably wondering if she missed her calling as a referee instead.
He was so sexually active with other women. He was cheating on me.
Okay, so there was a breakdown in the relationship,
Yes,
and then you demanded he bring you.
I was asking him months and months and months, can he get this, can he get that? He said, no, I'm not getting you that.
I have evidence to show you that I have bought everything she said on this, everything she demanded
I
me.
asked him months
I have
and months.
evidence.
Hold on to your hats because Harvey's got doubts thicker than a mystery novel plot. He spills the beans about Jet's sketchy behavior and a Facebook faux pas involving another Dubai's name, tag it on the baby's photo. Oops! As Harvey unloads his baggage of suspicion, you can't help but grab your popcorn and wait for what's next in this telenovela.
After she had the baby, she had told me the whole time she was pregnant, she was in a relationship. And another thing is she had the baby and tagged the dude name in the picture where she tagged another dude. Like, listen, if the baby mine, why didn't you tag me in the picture?
Honor.
Tagged another guy and say she doesn't know who the guy is.
Enter stage left, Jet's mom, adding more spice to this already sizzling saga. She tells a tale of promises made and broken, painting Harvey as the would-be knight in shining armor who apparently got lost on his way to the castle. The plot thickens as accusations fly, and you're left wondering if this story could get any more tangled. Spoiler alert, it does.
And that right there where the arrow is, that's the dude name who she tagged in the picture.
Okay, and I have...
Why would you tag another man's name on your baby's photo?
I did not tag himself in the picture by himself, and I never met him. I actually wrote the dude and I said, hey, my daughter, you tag yourself in the picture. And he said, oh, I'm sorry.
Why would this
And
guy...
you don't know what you writing.
He said that maybe it was an accident that he mistakenly tagged himself in her picture.
Harvey tries to play the role of the misunderstood hero, flashing a money order like it's a badge of honor. He claims he's been Mr. Moneybags all along, but Jet's having none of it, calling his bluff. The courtroom's getting heated, and it's not just the lack of air conditioning.
And a receipt for the money order, and that was $100. And then when she was pregnant, I went shopping.
So you say you gave her cash
maternity.
multiple times, but you just have a receipt for one money order? Has he given you any other? So he hasn't given you money multiple times, but he has given you this $100.
Yes,
Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water, the battle over baby bucks turns into an all-out war. Harvey's suing for diaper dough, while Jet counters with a ledger that makes the national debt look like chump change. The judge, probably contemplating a career change by now, tries to cut through the chaos with the patience of a saint and the determination of a seasoned bargain shopper.
Ms. Jet, you claim that what he's given you is merely a drop in the bucket.
It's really nothing.
And these are your real expenses.
Yes,
as
it is.
relates to your daughter.
I provide all these things by myself.
State provided. I'm telling you, the feeding alone the state provides. She get wigged. The state provides all that 800 something.
In a plot twist no one saw coming, Harvey's aunt throws down the family gauntlet, claiming their genes are so dominant they should be trademarked. She's convinced the baby couldn't possibly be a Harvey because, well, it doesn't look like it won the genetic lottery. As the family resemblance argument unfolds, you're left wondering if there's a Maury Povich cameo on the horizon.
After she had the baby, she was trying to get pregnant again. She told me she was pregnant or whatever, so I went and got her and stuff like that. She telling this dude, she said, you need to pay for this abortion.
No, I didn't.
And then she telling some other dude he need to pay for abortion.
Is it your contention that you were not intimate? Anyone else during the window of conception?
No, I was not. I was only with him and I was living with him at the time.
Drum roll, please. The paternity test results are in, and in a shocking turn of events that nobody, except maybe everyone, saw coming.
Mr. Harvey, you are not her father.
That's fine.
Ms. Jet, you so diplomatic now.
Because, no, listen, Your Honor, it's not.
I just witnessed probably about 30 minutes of you taking this young man through the ringer. You went straight into politician mode. Are we okay? shaking hands and kissing.
Mrs. Schenk spills the beans about her growing suspicions regarding Serenity's paternity as the kiddo hit the terrible twos, leading Mr. Robinson to start ghosting his own daughter. Witnessing her munchkin's heartache becomes a daily soap opera for Miss Schenk. And just when you thought it couldn't get any spicier, buckle up.
You claim that when your daughter Serenity turned 2, Mr. Robinson began to doubt paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
And since then, you claim he's pulled away from your child and it's now breaking your heart to watch her suffer.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plot thickens, and oh, how it thickens. Mr. Robinson takes us on a journey from being Serenity's #1 fan to questioning if he's even part of the fan club. The anticipation for the DNA drumroll is palpable as he teeters on the edge of his seat, hoping to be crowned the dad. The air is charged with tension, and then boom, a wild turn appears.
State from the moment Serenity was born, you were actively involved in her life and developed a very strong bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
However, when Ms. Schenk suddenly stated you may not be her biological father and started to pursue DNA testing of another man, you pulled away.
Yes, Your Honor.
DNA results prove you are Serenity's father, so you can once again feel close to your little girl.
Adding more spice to the drama stew, the courtroom becomes the stage for Mr. Robinson's narrative of being the ever-present father figure until Ms. Schenk dropped the bomb about Serenity's potential other daddy. This revelation turns the story into a tangled web of emotions and commitment. Just as you're catching your breath, the plot twists again.
Ms. Schenk was pregnant. You thought you were having a baby.
Yes, ma'am.
It was never ever mentioned to you that there could possibly be another father.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say you were there, give me details.
I was there through all her doctor's appointments. Each and every doctor's appointment I was there. Even for Serenity when she was born, I was there for her, helping her out with her.
Were you two in a relationship?
Not in an actual relationship. We was dealing with each other off and on.
Off and on.
Yes, ma'am.
Sexual relationship.
Your jaw will hit the floor with this bombshell. Ms. Schenk, in a plot twist worthy of a telenovela, confesses to a rendezvous with another man during the conception saga, stirring the pot of paternity doubts. This confession is a tearjerker and heart-wrencher rolled into one. The next scene is so gripping, you'll need popcorn.
She told me that she had slept with a friend of mine and didn't know if I was the father or if he was the father.
So she came clean?
Yes, ma'am.
So Ms. Schenk, that happened?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fill me in. When you found out you were pregnant, did you think he was the father, or did you know right off the bat there could possibly be another father?
I didn't know.
The suspense is killer as the tale unravels. Dive deeper into the rabbit hole of timelines and secret doubts that plagued Ms. Schenk until she finally decides to come clean to Mr. Robinson about the daddy dilemma. But wait, there's more drama ahead that's too juicy to miss.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you did sleep with someone else during the window of conception.
Yes.
There was an issue with the protection you used.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you found out you were pregnant, did you immediately say it could be Mr. Robinson or the other guy, or did you say to yourself you felt like it was just Mr. Robinson because you'd only been with the other guy once?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was it just one time with the other guy?
Yes, Your Honor.
This emotional whirlwind keeps on spinning. Mr. Robinson's emotional turmoil, his seesaw of support for Serenity amidst the sea of uncertainties, and his heartbreaking step back when the DNA test looms are soap opera gold. The next chapter in this saga is so enthralling, you'll be glued to your seat.
And so you continued to be there?
Yes, ma'am.
Through the birth?
Through the birth. I was there.
There at the hospital?
Yes, ma'am. I was there through her whole pregnancy. I was there through her birth certificate. My name is on it.
And then now you have this beautiful little girl, and you step up and you're her father.
Yes, ma'am. Up until when she told me that she had slept with somebody else, that's what made me push myself away from Serenity.
What, you knew that it was a 50-50 chance when she was 5 months pregnant?
Yes, ma'am.
But you still said you'd be there?
Yes, ma'am.
Twist after twist, it's like a daytime Emmy in the making. The revelation that Mr. Robinson has been playing favorites with his kids thanks to the paternity kerfuffle. Ms. Schenk's descriptions of her daughter's yearning for daddy's love hit right in the feels. Brace yourself. The emotional roller coaster is about to plunge even deeper.
As Mr. Robinson was bonding with the baby, really stepping up to the plate as father, in your mind, you're looking and you're saying, my baby looks just like the other guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I need to have him tested. Actually have another child with Mr. Robinson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you guys were on and off again, but you have another child together, and that child you say looks like him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Family ties get knotty in this narrative layer. Heartfelt accounts from Ms. Schenk's mother and Mr. Robinson shed light on their wishes and insights regarding the whole paternity predicament, revealing the complex tapestry of family dynamics and their collective yearning for a happy ending. The build-up to the next reveal is almost too much to bear.
That's TMI for a child, so now your son looks at your daughter and says that's not your daddy, and she's brokenhearted. I want to hear from your witness. Ma'am, please step up. State your name for the court.
I'm Donna Schenk. I'm Brittany Schenk's mom.
Okay. Ms. Schenk, thank you for joining us today. What have you observed of the situation?
First, I'd like to say that I'm here today to support my daughter. I totally
Diving deep into the emotional maelstrom, Mr. Robinson's mother takes the virtual stage with a video testament that peels back the layers of his emotional struggle, adding an intricate layer to his retreat from Serenity. The saga is reaching its peak, and you won't believe what's up next.
So, Mr. Robinson, we've heard your mother just speak on your behalf, and she says it really broke your heart to have to pull away, and that she encouraged you to, until you know. How badly is it hurting you?
I mean, it's devastating, actually. Never denied a child, and I hope that she is mine.
And so, the truth is, your hopes have remained constant.
Finally, the grand finale we've been waiting for. The DNA test results are in
versus Robinson when it comes to 2-year-old Serenity Shank. Jamario Robbins is her father.
Can you believe the drama unfolding right before our eyes? Picture this. Mr. Wilson, with the flair of a man who's just found an extra fry at the bottom of the bag, opens his case. He's alleging that Ms. Dean's daughter, Jakaya, might not be his biological kid after he uncovered Ms. Dean's secret salsa lessons with the mailman in his very own living room. I mean, he had moved her in, given her the Wi-Fi password, and even shared his Netflix account. And just when you're thinking, this is as dramatic as a llama on a skateboard, hold on to your hats, folks.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case today to prove that Ms. Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dean, you say Mr. Wilson has turned his back on your daughter and he welcomed her into the world and signed her birth certificate. You claim Mr. Wilson is her father and his denial is hurting you and your daughter.
In a heart-wrenching counter, Ms. Dean, standing her ground like a determined cat refusing to move off your laptop, insists Mr. Wilson is Jakia's father. She argues his denial is wreaking havoc, causing more drama than a spilled latte on a white shirt. She reminds everyone that Mr. Wilson was there, cutting the cord and signing the birth certificate, all while probably planning the baby's first trip to Disneyland. But then, plot twist alert.
Your Honor, I don't believe I'm the father because I have been fooled by multiple females in the past.
Oh.
What do you mean you planned this?
And I have been going down this rodeo for far too long. I signed on a birth certificate. I'm not there physically, I just can't handle it.
Caught in a whirlwind of doubt and past betrayals that would rival any telenovela, Mr. Wilson can't shake off the feeling that he might not be Jakia's dad. It's like he's living in a soap opera, and he's the leading man unsure if his TV wife really loves him. The tension is thicker than the last slice of pizza at a party, so you might want to grab some popcorn.
Mr. Wilson, you saying you've been fooled once, you've been fooled twice, but you're not going to be fooled again.
Correct, Your Honor.
And Ms. Dean, you say this is unnecessary.
It really is.
Go ahead, explain.
It really is. He's being not only belligerent and lying, him and his family is lying because not only did we plan this baby, we had concessions. I had my period.
You had concessions?
You know, we literally getting down, doing things besides just.
The plot thickens, turning into a hearty stew of confusion and revelations about the couple's past, their dreams of co-parenting, and possibly even getting a dog together. It's like they were planning the perfect family portrait, only to realize they forgot to invite the photographer. Strap in, because the roller coaster of drama is about to do a loop-de-loop.
She hit me up like, what you up to, and this, that, and the other. At the time, I was taking care of my stepfather, had my own house, car working, things of that nature. We decided to meet up, planned the baby. The baby was just not a coincidence. I asked her, could she have a baby for me?
That you planned.
Because she knew what I've been through in the past with not having kids and how desperately I wanted to have it. And she had me under the impression that she was willing to go through with it with me.
And I did.
And,
you don't see the baby?
You know, I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the ex in the baby.
In a touching display of commitment, or perhaps just a love for hospital gowns, Mr. Wilson's presence at Jakaya's grand entrance is confirmed. He was there, scissors in hand, ready to cut the umbilical cord with the precision of a samurai. He even signed the birth certificate, possibly while contemplating whether he had enough dad jokes prepared. But soon, doubts start to seep in like an uninvited raccoon at a picnic.
So you were there at the birth?
Yes, I was.
Did you go to doctor's appointments for the baby too?
She never followed through with it.
All right, but at the birth, you came.
I came.
And you cut the umbilical cord?
I did want to.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
So you accepted this baby as your own?
I did.
And at that time when you did that, you believed you were the father?
Didn't have no doubt.
The seeds of doubt grow into a full-blown forest of uncertainty as Mr. Wilson recalls Ms. Dean's fondness for her ex, which was more confusing than trying to assemble furniture without the instructions. The saga takes another twist that you'll have to see to believe.
Just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up. He came over to visit. He is lying. He came over to
30
visit.
days?
He lied. It wasn't no 30 days. How was it 30 days when we was having concessions all that time? He is lying.
in a moment as revealing as forgetting to wear pants to a Zoom meeting, Ms. Dean and her ex, in a dramatic conference call that could have been sponsored by a soap opera network, admit to Mr. Wilson that Jakaya isn't his child. It's like the final scene in a mystery movie, where the detective puts on his hat and walks into the fog. Except this time, it's Mr. Wilson, and he's returning the baby monitor.
It's a possibility this could be my baby, but it's in fact her baby. And until I know if it's my baby, I'm going to give her back her baby. I'm not going to hold the baby up, not going to take it away from her mom. I'm giving it back to her. I dropped the baby off at a couple of weeks, and I haven't seen the baby since.
And how long has it been?
The baby is like 17 months.
And how long has it been since you've seen her?
17 months.
With everyone holding their breath as if they're about to dive into a pool of cold noodles, the court unveils the DNA results. Drumroll, please. Mr. Wilson is not the father. The room explodes into a cacophony of gasps, tears, and probably a fainting grandmother somewhere. Just when you think you've seen it all, this episode proves the drama isn't just in soap operas. It's right here, in the most unexpected moments of life. Stay tuned, because this story has more layers than a lasagna at a potluck.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father. Miss Faithful, stop.
Can you even grasp the wild ride we're about to embark on? Right out of the gate, we're tossed into the drama of McCormick versus Ball, starring Mr. McCormick, who's convinced Ms. Ball is a walking red flag in the fidelity department and questions whether he's the real dad to her son, Gavin. Brace yourself, because what comes next will have your jaw on the floor.
Mr. McCormick, you say you thought you found the perfect woman until you discovered the love of your life with just a serial cheater on a rampage. You say Ms. Ball is a shameless adulteress, and there is no way you are her son Gavin's father.
Here's where the plot thickens, and then some Mr. McCormick lays it all out, painting a picture of his world turned upside down upon discovering Ms. Ball's behind-the-scenes action. He's got receipts, text messages, videos, you name it, painting her not just as a cheat, but as the Picasso of infidelity. And just when you think it can't get any more bonkers, buckle up for the next revelation.
Ms. Ball, you admit to having stepped out on your relationship in the past, but you are positive Mr. McCormick is the father of your son, and you intend to prove paternity today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. McCormick, what do you mean she's a serial cheater?
Well, Your Honor, I found text messages. I've seen her getting in strange vehicles. I've seen videos. What haven't I found? Like, there's no way that I could be this child's father. I'm sorry.
The air crackles with tension here, folks. Ms. Ball, not missing a beat, owns up to her past escapades, but throws a curveball, insisting that Gavin is 100% McCormick made, despite their love story having more ups and downs than a soap opera. It's a wild mix of guilt, a dash of defiance, and a desperate plea to acknowledge the tangled webs of their DNA. What unfolds next will have you picking your jaw up off the floor.
He's become crazy and obsessed with making up things, seeing things. There's no way I've done all the things he said. He is the father of my son. You can look at Gavin and see he's your son.
All right, so take me back. I want to know how this all started. The nature of your relationship. How did it begin?
Mr. McCormick, armed with an arsenal of evidence including sneaky surveillance footage and spicy anecdotes of Ms. Ball's rendezvous, attempts to showcase the Grand Canyon-sized trust gap between them. The drama that's about to unfold will make you question everything you thought you knew.
I saw her getting to a truck of a strange guy. He was like 25 years old.
Why would you let me get in?
Okay, is that you or is that strange guy?
That's the strange guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked her, I saw her getting into a truck. I asked her who it was. She said it was another family member, which I know is he's 60 years old. He doesn't wear his hat sideways and blare music like that.
So it was a young guy.
A young guy. Yeah.
And you believe she was cheating.
Prepare for the emotional equivalent of a roller coaster. As we dive deeper, the spotlight turns to the heart-wrenching implications of Ms. Ball's escapades on Gavin's paternity. The agony and betrayal oozing from Mr. McCormick are almost tangible, cranking the emotional stakes up to 11. The twist coming next is so shocking, you'll need a moment to recover.
Something shady was going on.
He heard a butt down. It goes...
She's a beast.
That's me having sex. Yes, he's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I heard a girl
Y'all
say,
know,
you can
when you
have
butt
me,
down
girl.
someone.
When the call connected, what did you hear or see?
I heard another female say, you can have him now, girl. And she denied that. She said that it wasn't her voice.
Oh, so you think they're having a threesome?
A threesome. No.
As we venture further, the saga takes a hopeful yet eyebrow-raising turn. Ms. Ball, in a plot twist no one saw coming, pitches the idea of turning over a new leaf, focusing on her makeshift family unit with Mr. McCormick and Gavin. It's a roller coaster of emotions as she acknowledges the havoc she's wreaked and proposes a blueprint for family repair. The revelation on the horizon is so astounding, you might need to sit down for it.
You create what you want from the story, and that is that Mr. McCormick is the father, but the real truth is you were honest with the other guy.
Yeah, I
And now Mr. McCormick has one foot out the door. He's completely unsure.
He's not going
he has
anywhere.
paternity doubt. He says he doesn't know what to do.
She had cheated. It's like, we had unprotected sex for a couple years, and then when I found out she had cheated, then she ends up pregnant. It just doesn't make sense.
The climax hits, and it's like the finale of a fireworks show. The episode's peak moment arrives with the unveiling of Gavin's paternity test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCormick.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are the father.
Thank you.
The air was so thick with tension, you could cut it with a knife. Mr. Muhammad steps up, confidently claiming he's the real deal. The dad to Brooklyn, the adorable 2-year-old at the heart of this courtroom drama. He's pointing fingers at Miss Walton, accusing her of playing the paternity card to keep her options open with another dude. He's all in, ready to lay down the law to prove he's the father. The courtroom's buzzing. Everyone's prepped for a showdown that feels more like a soap opera. And just as you're biting your nails, wondering what could possibly happen next, the scene takes a turn into the unexpected.
Mr. Muhammad, you are here to prove that you are the father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Brooklyn. You claim the only reason she is denying paternity is because she wants to be in a relationship with the other man. Is that correct?
Yes, Sean.
Ms. Walton, you say you were secretly cheating on Mr. Muhammad and had sex with other men almost every day of the month.
Right after that bombshell, the courtroom's atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Miss Walton, not missing a beat, drops her own bombshell. She's been seeing another man practically on the daily, firmly believing Mr. Muhammad's not father material. Her candid confession throws a wrench into the works, unraveling the complexity of their tangled hearts and the real noodle scratcher. Who's the daddy? Her words send ripples through the room, setting the stage for more jaw-dropping reveals. But wait, there's more. The plot thickens with each passing moment.
So, Mr. Muhammad, you are convinced you are Brooklyn's father.
Yes, ma'am.
Explain.
First of all, I would never let another man raise my child. I was always raised to do the right thing, always raised to be a stand-up gentleman. I know, take care of all my children. You can look at Brooklyn now, see my face features, everything. I'm here today to prove today that I am the father.
Silence fell so hard, you could hear a flea sneeze. The spotlight's on Miss Walton as she dives into the juicy details of her roller coaster relationship with Mr. Muhammad around the time Brooklyn was conceived, hinting at a merry-go-round of love affairs. Her confessions about sneaky rendezvous and secret glances with the other man weave a complex web of passion and intrigue. The air's charged with the drama of it all, setting the stage for an even twistier turn of events. Hold on to your hats. The emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
Because during my conception day, I was having more sexual intercourse with the other guy than Mr. Muhammad.
And you were having sex with this other guy behind his back, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the nature of your relationship, Mr. Muhammad, around the time Brooklyn was conceived?
Okay, the nature of our relationship was Anwar was already having an affair with another woman before he had moved in with me. During that time, while he was having his affair, I was having my affair also.
Nobody saw it coming. It was like a plot twist in a primetime thriller. The whole courtroom gasped when it came to light that Miss Walton's other man might actually be her cousin. Talk about a plot twist. This bomb drops a whole new level of drama and deception into the mix, turning the paternity puzzle into a full-blown saga of forbidden romance and whispered secrets. The crowd's on the edge of their seats, craving the next piece of this deliciously complicated puzzle. As the mystery deepens, the revelations keep coming, each more startling than the last.
Saying you were in a relationship.
In a relationship.
And you're saying you were not in a relationship when Brooklyn was conceived?
No, we was not in a relationship. We were just living together.
Wow.
And you have an older child together, am I correct?
Yes, 4 years old.
So how did you manage to sneak around with the other guy behind Mr. Muhammad's back?
Well, what happens is we was sneaking off to the hotel and having our, relations there.
And where were you supposed to be? Where did you tell Mr. Muhammad you were?
Work.
I told him I was at work.
Just when you think you've seen it all, the drama escalates to new heights. In a bold move, Miss Walton reveals her dual dalliances with Mr. Muhammad and the supposed coups during the crucial time frame, throwing Brooklyn's paternity into a whirlwind of doubt. This admission is like dropping a grenade of doubt, highlighting the messiness of human relationships and the Herculean task of sifting truth from scandal. The judge and spectators are now embroiled in a paternity conundrum that feels more like unraveling a mystery novel. But the emotional whirlwind doesn't stop there. It's only just begun.
She sleep, I looked at her phone, I started seeing a full-fledged text message about having sex, all that stuff. Y'all having a full relationship behind my back.
So you had
I had no idea about this man. Like I said, said, she told me in the beginning that was a cousin. I ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking it's a family member.
How you found out about the man at all?
You stop having sex with me. Your Honor, I know when you stop having sex with me, it's a problem.
The room was buzzing with a cocktail of anticipation and speculation. As Mr. Muhammad and Miss Walton go tit for tat over the whens and wheres of Brooklyn's conception, the plot only thickens. Their clashing memories over romantic rendezvous and calendar dates add layers of confusion and intrigue to the paternity mystery, turning the courtroom into a theater of the absurd. It's a wild ride of he said, she said, with Brooklyn's origins caught in the middle. And just when you think it can't get any more convoluted, the story takes another dramatic turn.
Your Honor, I remember us having sex at my house, not his mother's house.
So, Mr. Muhammad, is it your testimony that you conceived your daughter, Brooke, in your mother's bathroom on the sink?
Yes, ma'am.
So when do you think you conceived?
I conceived February the 4th.
Each word spun the situation into a more intricate web. Miss Walton, in a candid moment, professes her heart leans heavily towards the other man, as both partner and preferable papa, laying bare the emotional undercurrents driving this paternity roller coaster. This revelation not only stirs the pot, but also paints a picture of a love triangle ensnared in legal wrangles. The courtroom's alive with whispers and side eyes as personal dramas intersect with legal battles. The crescendo of this episode is on the horizon, promising a finale filled with unexpected twists.
Do you want to be with this other man too?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now it makes sense.
Now, that's what she wants. She trying to make that baby belong to this man. That I don't even know this man.
Have you started that relationship?
No.
Ain't gonna work.
No.
Ain't gonna work.
Well, why?
He's married for number one.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
He's married for number one.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
In a heartbeat, the courtroom transformed into a scene of edge-of-your-seat suspense. The moment of truth arrives with the paternity results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Muhammad, you are the father.
Yes. I told you. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You hear me? I know what I'm talking about.